Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Rebecca here again with the story of the Three Little Pigs. We're going to be doing something a little bit differently today. Instead of doing our whole story time with this video, I am just going to tell you guys the story of the Three Little Pigs using some stuffed animals and props. So I'm going to introduce you to the pigs first before we start the story. Okay, so you'll know what to expect. So this is going to be the youngest pig. You guys know who this is in real life? This is Peppa Pig, and she'll be playing the youngest pig today. And this is the middle-aged pig. This actually reminds me of Piggy from Elephant and Piggy, but it's just a regular stuffed animal. And this one will be playing the middle-aged pig. And finally, we just met this one at a story time recently, but this is actually Practical Pig from the original Disney short film of the Three Little Pigs, which I got at Disney World as a young child. Very special to me. And finally, are the pigs the star, or is the big bad wolf the star? I don't know, you decide, but I think we're ready to get started. So, little piggies, come back on stage. Oh, here they come. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs. And they lived with their mama pig and their papa pig. But their mama pig and their papa pig said, you know what? You have all grown up and you are ready to go out and seek your fortune all on your own. And so they were all sad. We will miss living with our parents. But they realized that their mama and papa were probably right. It was probably time for them to go live in houses of their own. And they could still visit and have dinners and spend time together. So off they went. So the first little pig set out into the world with a little bit of money and knew she needed to build a house. And so she just happened to run into someone selling straw, which is like a very flimsy kind of building material. So she bought the straw because she was actually not a very ambitious pig. And she thought that, okay, straw will just be fine for my house. And so she bought the straw, even though the person selling the straw said you might want to use something stronger for your house. There are big bad wolves about. She said, oh no, it'll be fine. This is cheap. I'll have money left over for maybe a hot tub. So she built a house of straw. And there's a picture of a house of straw. And she was happy. She was sitting in her house of straw, relaxing, when, what do you think happened? Along came the big bad wolf. And he knocked on her door. And he said, little pig, let me come in. And the little pig said, not by the hair of my chinny-chin-chin. And you know what the wolf said? You can say it with me if you know. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So the wolf huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the house in. Oh no! And the little pig ran and ran and ran and ran. And luckily, I will say, in this story today, our little pig made it to the safety of the second little pig's house, which we will hear about shortly. So this is our second little pig, the middle child. And this pig was walking down the road, and he came upon a stick seller. So stick is a little bit stronger than straw. And you know, the middle pig thought, that is good. I don't want to keep looking. I don't want to think about this anymore. I'm just going to accept these sticks and build my house out of them. So the middle pig built and built and built a beautiful log cabin. out of the sticks. And went inside and started cooking with some very fine cookware that the pig had bought with the money that he saved by not buying bricks or a stronger building material. When who should come along but the big bad wolf. Oh, and I forgot to mention, actually. So, they're both there because this little pig ran to this little pig's house. And so they're sitting in there together. And the big bad wolf comes along and says, little pig, let me come in. And the two pigs say together, not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. So what does the wolf say? Will you guys help me? Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. He's feeling hungrier and angrier. There went the house, and there go those little pigs. Luckily, again, we're telling a happy story today. So these two little pigs make it safely to hide in their big brother's house, who we're about to see. We're about to see that house. So here is the big brother pig. Now, this pig had always been saving his money, and he had plenty of money to buy a very nice, very strong building material. So when he met a person selling bricks, he said to the woman, he said, give me some bricks, please. It will make the strongest house possible for me to live in happily. And the woman selling the bricks said, oh, of course, here you go. What a wise pig you are to build your house out of bricks. I'm sure you'll be safe from the big bad wolf. So off he went and he built a beautiful brick house. Here it is. See those bricks there? And there we go. There's those bricks. And as he was, once he got settled inside, his two siblings came and they took cover in his house too. So they're all inside there. When, of course, who should come along but the big bad wolf. And here's something neat. He doesn't knock on the door at this house. We've got a little bell to ring. So he rings the little bell. He's probably not very polite. You're only supposed to knock once or ring once. But this is a rude wolf who wants to eat up little piggies. So he goes. And all three little piggies are in there. And the wolf says, little pig, let me come in. And the three little piggies all say together, what do they say? Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins. And what does the wolf say, you guys? We'll bring the house back into view here so the wolf can say, then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. Whoa, he's getting tired. Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in. Oh, little pig, let me come in. But of course, the pigs are not going to just let the little wolf into their house, the big bad wolf into their house. I'm out of breath too. So the little pig decides that the wolf decides that he will climb down into the chimney. And this takes some imagination. So while he's working on that, on climbing down into the chimney, what is usually under a chimney or could be under a chimney? A fire sometimes. So the pigs are inside the house and they get that fire going and they decide to make a soup. And they put it under the fire because they don't have an oven. They cook in the fire, this particular soup at least. So they have that going. You know what happens? The wolf says, I am so angry, I am going to gobble you up. Here I come down the chimney. Ooh! Ow! 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 And the wolf manages, because this is a happy-ish story, to jump out of the pot of cooking soup that should have been wolf soup and run out the front door and run away through the hills far away where he became a very reformed pig and a vegetarian, maybe even a vegan. He stopped eating pigs, and what happened? They all lived happily ever after. And that is the end. So that was a fun story, and that was sort of a shorter version of the Three Little Pigs than you find in a classic telling of the story. But there are so many different books. I have one behind me there, The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. There's so many different versions of this story. Some of them are the kind of old telling, and then some of them are what's called a twisted fairy tale, where things are a little bit different, and we have a lot of them at the library. So if you're interested in reading more stories about the Three Little Pigs or more versions of the Three Little Pigs, you should give the library a call and request one.